Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to change the spark plugs on your Porsche Boxster 987. Stay tuned. Now on most cars, changing the spark plugs is pretty straightforward. Usually all you have to do is open up the hood of your car, find where the spark plugs are, disconnect the coil wires or the coil packs, pull out the spark plugs, put the new ones in, bada bing, bada boom. But not in this car. So to get to the spark plugs in this car, you need to jack up the rear, take off the wheels, and remove the plastic wheel well cover to even get access to the motor. After that, it's like any other car. We just remove the coil packs and take the plugs out, put the new ones in, call it a day. A couple things to note, I would do this job with the car cold so that you don't burn yourself on the engine. And I would also disconnect the battery whenever you're doing electrical work on the car. It's just a good idea. To do this job, you'll need to jack up the rear of your car. So first, please watch our video on how to do that. You'll need 6 new spark plugs. You'll need a socket wrench, preferably 3/8. You'll need plenty of extensions, at a minimum these, with a knuckle on the end of one. You'll need a 10mm socket for the battery and the plastic wheel well trim. An E10 socket for the coil packs. Just a quick note, you might not need the E10. It looks like somebody put the wrong bolts on my car. It's not the factory bolts, which are all T40s. A T40 socket for the coil packs. A T25 socket for the wheel well plastic trim. And you'll need a 5/8 spark plug socket. I have 2 of these, one with a rubber gasket on the inside and one without. This one's good for removing, this one's good for inserting. To help us get the electrical connector off the top of the coil pack, it's a good idea to have some trim tools and a flathead screwdriver as well. And it's always a good idea to have the stick magnet as well so that we don't lose any bolts. So let's start by disconnecting the battery. Go ahead and open up your frunk. Now to access the battery on these cars, we're going to remove this section right here. This position is closed. Turn it 90 degrees to the right and it should pop up just like that. This is what that fastener looks like. So when you turn it this way, it's able to slide out of this rectangular holder. So we're gonna grab a 10mm wrench. We're gonna disconnect the negative terminal first. You always wanna do that to prevent sparking of the positive terminal. So we'll loosen this nut right here and pull it off, like that. As you can see, if I let go of this thing, it wants to go back on it. So to prevent that, I usually just put like a rubber glove or some type of insulation there so that we know it won't connect by accident. After your car is jacked up and your wheels are taken off, with our 10mm, we're gonna take off 1, 2, 3 nuts and 3 T25 Torx screws. That's what they look like. And we can remove this shield right here. So that will give us better access to the engine. Okay, so heading into the engine, you can see that there are 3 coil packs that will need to come off. Okay, so we'll start off with the T40s. Okay, this last one is particularly challenging. As you can see, I've attached just the socket right here to the coil pack, and we're gonna see if we can get this guy on it. All right, now that the 6 coil pack screws are removed, let's go ahead and pull off our coil packs. So to remove the coil packs, 1, 2, 3, what we'll do is we'll pull up on this tab right here. This electrical connection separates from the coil pack right here at this line. So we'll go ahead and grab a flathead and see if we could pry that up like that. We'll do it on the other 2 as well, which should allow us to remove the electrical connector vertically and then pull out the coil pack like that. As I mentioned before, you really want a variety of extensions, adjustable joints, wobbler ends like this. Just having more options will really help you out when it comes to difficult access projects like this one. So just to show you guys the clips that we're looking at, all you're going to want to do is just lift up on the plastic piece that is coming down and attaching to this. Once you lift up on that, you should be able to just push the clip out of the way to release this. It's also typically a good idea to remember which coil pack was in which cylinder. It's not critical because they should all be the same part number, but maybe if you're diagnosing a misfire or not sure if one of your coil packs is bad, it's a good idea to keep them in order to make your testing efficient. For example, one thing I noticed in my coil packs is this one, the rearmost, is actually a different part number than the other two on this side, as well as the other three on the other side of the engine match these two. So this one, I wonder if this was a bad coil pack and they just replaced this one with a similar working part, but it looks like it's a Borg Warner. You can see it's 997-602-1040, whereas the other five are Biru 997-602-10200. Now we're ready to remove the old spark plugs and replace them with new ones. Now these spark plugs don't need to be gapped because, as you can see, they have 4 metal protrusions here, which don't need to be adjusted. In order to remove the old spark plugs and install the new ones, the setup I'll be using is a double extension for a 3/8 ratchet with a knuckle and another, 6 or 8 inch extension right here. For our particular application, you can see on the side of the box it says we're going to tighten this down to 28 Newton meters, which is 21 foot-pounds. Now, a lot of people will recommend using dielectric grease at the top of the spark plug. It's just a little grease that's conductive that you put here. And when you insert your coil pack onto it, it creates a good connection and it also makes it easier to take it on and off. For this application, I'm just going to put the spark plug right into the coil pack as it was before. I've never had an issue with that. Now that we have our spark plugs removed, we can go ahead and inspect them. Another good reason for changing your spark plugs is that you can see what your engine is telling you. As you can see, this one is very black, which could be excess carbon buildup, which might happen if there's a rich air to fuel mixture, meaning that this car has too much fuel going in and not enough air, which might mean that I need to change the air filter. It could also be oil fouling, which means too much oil is getting into the combustion chamber via the PCV system, which means I may have to replace the air oil separator on this car as well. But just look at that difference. You can even see the electrode here on the new one is almost completely gone on the old one. If I just put these new spark plugs in, they would probably turn into this in a matter of weeks or months. So it looks like I have a couple more videos to make on the air filter and the air oil separator. For now, let's go ahead and install our new spark plugs. Reinstall our wheel, lower the car, and start her up. The process I've shown on this side of the car is the same on the other side as well. Given the state of my spark plugs, that there was basically no electrode left, I would expect to feel a difference in performance next time I drive this car. Again, listen to what your spark plugs are telling you. If there's extra carbon buildup or oil residue on it, you're going to want to go ahead and check out what's going on. Oftentimes that's just replacing an air filter or replacing the air oil separator on these cars. I'm going to go ahead and replace both of those things, so stay tuned for more videos coming. Thank you guys so much for watching another MSW Motorsports video. Please leave any questions and comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.